everyone! Thank you guys so much for being the people who still watch good old television instead of participating in the mass epidemic of scrolling, swiping, and clicking. So, I'm your buddy and self-appointed entertainer Priyanka, and this is a brand new show called... Actually, wait. Before I tell you the name, are you all not just tired but completely done with the news constantly throwing a spotlight on people hurting other people? Reality TV characters trying to become presidents? North Korea constantly instigating World War III? Exactly. I know that you are just done. So I, with this new rolled back and relaxed news show, bring you news that is light at heart and grounded to real life. It's 3 parts fun, 1 part knowledge, and a pinch of bizarre. Maybe a lot of bizarre. With stories that others think are way too much fun to be told, I present to you a brand new show about not so breaking news. News Unplugged. Let's go. Our first story is about a race like one you've never seen before.
Reluctantly crouched at the starting line, engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up, churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank.
I think it's a fantastic way of getting into motorsport.
The atmosphere here today, being the first one of the season, is one of excitement because, of course, we've been off for 6-7 months.
By the sound of that, I'm pretty sure you're thinking it's either a Formula One, NASCAR, or motorcycle Grand Prix. Well, think again.
It's about timing when you change drivers. It's about the speed of changing and putting your fuel in.
Whether you're doing go-karts or whether you're racing your lawnmower.
That is correct, my friends. Lawnmower racing season is in full swing. It is definitely one of the more unusual motorsport alternatives. The British Championship is a hard-fought battle which takes place from May to October, where at each meeting drivers use their nerve and skill to take top honors to earn points within their racing category, as in many other Grand Prix series. The Ferraris or McLarens of this sport have names more often associated with home improvement stores like Atco, Webb, and Westwood.
And long ago somebody left with the cup, but he's striving and driving and hugging the turns and thinking of someone for whom he still burns. 'Cause he's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all alone.
It's inexpensive. It's a way of getting your foot in the door.
Unusual. It's not like jumping in a car and just turning the wheel and pedals and gears. You've got to learn how you lean, how you brake, the different types of surfaces that you're racing on. So it really does take 3 or 4 years before you start to get the hang of how the lawnmowers race.
There are 3 categories of racing. Group 2 for machines that look like traditional lawnmowers with an attached seat. Group 3 for those that look like a buggy. And Group 4 for those that look like lawn tractors. Each race lasts between 10 and 18 laps. New racers got their chance to try the sport and test whether their mowers will make the cut. So while the rest of the world was looking at their phones, the newbie racers spent the last months detailing their mowers.
Very bumpy, loud, good fun. Yeah, good fun. Tiring, surprisingly tiring. But yeah, it was adrenaline filled. It was good.
That was first-timer Richard Cornelius. Drivers like him in each of the categories wore red bibs to distinguish them from the senior levels. Professionals like driver Mike Cresswell has earned the British champion title 15 times.
It's all the old men's drugs are kicking in.
So this has been going on for 15 years. Where have I been? Elephants are on the verge of extinction. Once a population of 26 million in the 1500s, decreasing to a population of 10 million in the early 1900s, down to 1.3 million in the 1970s, and now at a mere 500,000. In a span of 5 centuries, the elephant population has decreased by 98%. Sangdwan, founder of the Elephant Nature Park in Thailand, says the reason behind the dwindling few is fear of the animal and a lack of knowledge.
We are afraid of big animals. This is the reason why humans build their walls to protect themselves from what they are afraid of. And from the way we try to protect ourselves, we come into conflict with animals. Our fear is of the obstacle to having a good relationship with animals.
Elephants are losing a war they never asked for. Large-scale poaching and illegal ivory trade has wiped out 60% of the species in the last decade alone. They also face the threat of habitat loss. Their homes are being lost to expanding human settlement and rising infrastructure. These threats have endangered what is left of the elephant population. Fortunately, wildlife sanctuaries have stepped in to nurture and care for these elephants. The Elephant Nature Park in Thailand is one of the many. Sangdwan says these elephants are a lot like humans. It's really hard not to love them. Just like a mom sings her babies to sleep, Sangdwan sings the elephants to sleep, noticing that the songs are working to calm down and make the animals easier to approach.
Their behavior is not different from humans. From my experience, some elephants are very shy. Some are funny, some are serious. There are various personalities that I have seen, like one who has a loud voice, or they argue because they are jealous.
That was an average person planking. Now just imagine someone doing that for over 8 hours. This is the Planking World Cup Carnival, where 3,000 planking enthusiasts took part, competing to set a new Guinness World Record. In Beijing, China, 10 finalists reserved their spot at the top, competing to break the previous international record at 5 hours, 15 minutes and 15 seconds, set by George Hood. This year, the battle came down between Chinese policeman Mao Weidong and previous record holder George Hood. This time around, George Hood beat his own previous record by almost 2 hours, finally letting go at 7 hours, 4 minutes and 5 seconds, leaving policeman Mao as the last one standing. Continued to hold steady in plank position for another hour. The crowd counted down as Mao ultimately finished at 8 hours, 1 minute and 1 second. He put the win over the top by doing a few push-ups. I mean, there's winning and then there's just plain rubbing it in. The two finalists shook hands and hugged, congratulating each other. Mao was awarded a certificate by the Guinness World Record as the new international world record holder. Now, because this story is easier said than done, for a better understanding, let's break this story down to the level of a non-athlete. Here's what 8 hours looks like for the average person. This calls for a News Unplugged reality check segment. 7 a.m., wake up and brush your teeth. 7:45, eating breakfast. 8 a.m., driving to work. 9 a.m., greeting colleagues and working at the computer. And 2 hours later at 9 a.m., Mao and Hood are still planking. 11 a.m., a water break and waiting for lunchtime.
Did you see Deadwood?
Yeah, I heard it was cool. Let's meet again here next week and talk about it some more.
I think 6 Feet Under is a metaphysical drama that radiates emotional truthfulness.
I love water.
12 p.m., finally lunchtime. p.m., having a coffee break in the break room. 3 p.m. And at 3 p.m., Mao is still in plank position on the verge of breaking the world record of 8 hours, 1 minute, and 1 second. After the break, I have for you on this paper right here what my friend claims is the rarest and most insane job opening. And I'll also tell you about India's heaviest newborn baby. And we're back now for that insane job listing. It reads, looking for a person who is or appears lifeless, apathetic, or completely unresponsive to their surroundings. Okay, some responsibilities include to engage in monotone noise making, perform clicking of teeth at a rapid pace, ability to walk aimlessly in a non-synchronized form, capacity to sit idle for several hours in preparation of day's work, able to comfortably feed on human flesh. Please submit 3 letters of recommendation along with your resume. Only 35 slots open. Apply now. These are the qualifications you need to have to be a star at the newest attraction in Universal Studios, based on hit television series The Walking Dead. Now, if you're ready, this is what a normal day at the office looks like.
And action.
They know we're in here now. We can't wait them out. The herd is going to be here any minute. What? They're coming.
In charge of instructing and training you to become the best zombie you can be is Greg Nicotero, the director of the TV series and the TV series-based ride. Nicotero guides the extras of the show for 2 weeks on how to be a professional walker, as they call it. The same rigorous training will be given to the extras selected for the attraction in Universal Studios. Nicotero brought along Joe, one of the real extras from the TV show, as a way to demonstrate the zombie benchmark. And Joe, well, he isn't exactly your average Joe.
One of the things that I like about the way that what Joe does sometimes is by raising that shoulder, it's cool because then it gets you into this weird sort of contorted posture without holding it. If you notice, Joe never standing still. There's always a little bit of life in him and the way his head moves.
The ride used to be held on a seasonal basis around Halloween, but now the park will be hosting the ride all year long and at an entirely new level with enhanced props and prosthetics from the series. Creative director John Murray says it will not be a passive experience.
The devil you know? Welcome to hell!
In that world and you're like one of the survivors. So as you navigate your way through this attraction, it's very much like Rick and his gang had to navigate themselves through the world of the Walker apocalypse. And there's threats everywhere that you have to watch out for.
Having this as a full-time job seems to be a lot of fun. But John Marty does warn that it isn't the easiest job.
When you're filming the TV series, you know, at the most you're going to film for 2 minutes at a time and then you're going to call cut and everybody goes back to their nice air-conditioned trailers and takes a break. That's not how it is in the permanent attraction like the one at Universal Studios Hollywood. Our walkers have to stay in character for a lot longer. So in a lot of ways, it's a lot tougher than doing a TV series.
Next up, weighing in at 15 pounds, introducing India's all-time newborn heavyweight baby. You heard right. Nandini, the 19-year-old mother, gave birth after a C-section was performed to what is considered the heaviest newborn in all of India. Nandini is a diabetic, which is why the surgery was necessary. Fortunately, both mom and daughter are healthy, but were kept for observation to help diagnose the reason for the overweight baby. The heavyweight title was awarded to the adorable newborn for her above-average weight and height. The most common weight ranges from 5 to 7 pounds, and the height anywhere between 18 to 20 inches. However, in this unique case, the baby was born at 15 pounds with a height of 24.4 inches. Wow! Now, I'm sure this news intrigues you to ask another question. Who is the heaviest baby of them all? Well, according to the Guinness World Record, a baby born in Italy in 1955 who survived is holding its place in the book at 22.4 pounds as the heaviest baby in the world. And okay, that's not really him, but 22.4 pounds? That's a whole lot of cuteness packed into one baby. So remember that dream you had of climbing Mount Everest? Or that dream of getting a bird's eye view while someone else does the work for you? Well, one group says it can bring you closer to that dream than ever before. Mammoth Sports Group brings omnidirectional views of the Great Everest Mountain to millions around the world with a three-dimensional recording. The Swiss producer of mountaineering and trekking equipment laughs in the face of danger, risking it all to capture Earth's most beautiful creation. Photographer Robert Bosch gives a feel of the risk factor.
If you're up there and everything goes well, the weather is good, no wind, if something goes wrong, the catastrophe is very close, always. If you work there as a cameraman, everything goes good with your equipment, but if you have a problem and you have to find a solution, and if the weather is not good, it's cold, it could be very dangerous to do anything at the camera. So you have always a bigger risk if you are there in the same time as alpinist and cameraman.
Capturing footage of challenging routes and passages comes with a high reward, and that reward is a view from the highest point on Earth, with an altitude of almost 28,900 feet. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to 23 Empire State Buildings. The Virtual Reality 360-degree project allows this view to be accessed through the comfort of your home. And guess what? It allows you to earn the title of Virtual Climber. Although I wouldn't suggest going around claiming you've climbed Mount Everest, it might not be appreciated by the actual mountaineers.
Yeah, Everest is dangerous, but we have to prepare very well. Sometimes there is many crevasses, blocks, ice falls. It can be collapse, and sometimes avalanche or rockfall, and also high altitude.
Michael Geisler, Chief Marketing Officer of Mammoth Sports Groups, explains all that there is to appreciate about this project.
The basic idea is to bring the concept of Google Street View into the most beautiful mountains of this planet and thereby create a new way of documentation of these climbing routes. We started the project in 2014 with the iconic climb of the Eiger North Face and Matterhorn, and since then we added many new routes, some with athletes, others with our own employees.
On the other side, Dr. Henry Heimlich, inventor of the famous life-saving technique, the Heimlich maneuver, gets a chance to use it for the first time to save a choking victim. And thanks to the Japanese, soon we all can have a battery-powered family member. All that up next. Let's talk restaurants. I would say there are a couple million across the world housing various cuisine types. How do you judge which place does the best job, serves the best food, has the optimal presentation? Well, that's exactly what 972 chefs, restaurants, food writers, and culinary experts did. They came together to compile a list of the 50 best restaurants around the world. The 50 best list gained prominence among chefs around the globe, rivaling the long-standing Michelin guides with its star system. The prestigious awards ceremony was held for the first time outside of Britain, this time in the Big Apple. The host city got to award one of its very own restaurants right in the heart of New York City.
At number 3, and the best restaurant in North America, it's 11 Madison Park. Congratulations to Daniel Hum and Will Guidara.
More than half of the restaurants in the top 50 are in Europe, 6 are in the US, 6 in South America, and 5 in Asia. The runner-up to the top spot was a restaurant in Spain. And I may not do justice to the name, but it's El Cellar de Can Roca.
Vam tenir 3 fills, Joan, Josep i Jordi. Van créixer aquí, van treballar aquí.
Somos la unión de 3 mundos. Joan, el mayor, representa la parte salada, es el chef. Jordi se ocupa de los postres. Yo recomiendo los vinos. salado, dulce y líquido.
It's El Cellar de Can Roca.
And now for the one we all want to know about, the #1 spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, becoming the first Italian restaurant to make it to #1 on the 50 best list, the best restaurant in the world is Osteria Francescana. Please welcome Massimo Bottura and Laura Gilmore.
I am Massimo Bottura. I'm the chef at Osteria Francescana in Modena. Osteria Francescana is a laboratory of ideas, inspired by culture, because culture brings knowledge. Knowledge opens the consciousness. Creativity is poetry. Creating a recipe is an intellectual gesture that involves ingredients, technique, memory. Art became our motivational force behind every dish. When I speak about Emilia-Romagna, I thinking about slow passages of time in the aging process. The secret of the food valley is Parmigiano Reggiano. I was thinking to create in abstract and express an edible idea. 5 different age Parmigiano Reggiano in 5 different texture and temperature. It's not made to show how good with technique we are, but it's more about painting in abstract these slow passages of time in the aging process. It's an abstract painting with no color. A contemporary Italian chef needs to live in the moment, to explore and go in deep without forgetting the past and where it comes from.
A Cincinnati surgeon and inventor of a life-saving technique, Dr. Henry Heimlich, for the very first time put to use the Heimlich maneuver. At 96 years old, Dr. Heimlich had the opportunity to save a fellow senior center resident who was choking on the all-American hamburger.
I ordered a hamburger, and the next thing I know, I couldn't breathe.
I mean, you're 87 years old and eating a hamburger.
I was choking so hard.
Oh my gosh.
And that's Dr. Heimlich next to me. So he did the Heimlich maneuver, but it's the first time he'd ever done it on a patient.
He is Dr. Henry Heimlich, and you need the Heimlich maneuver. Okay, let's quickly put together a scenario. I want to put into perspective the thought process here. Take, for instance, it's late 19th century. You're sitting in the comfort of your apartment and the light bulb goes out. Just in that moment, Thomas Edison knocks on your door to borrow a cup of sugar. Would you ask for his help, or would you contemplate over the fact that he's just the inventor of the light bulb and has maybe never actually fixed one in someone's apartment? I don't think so.
She was sitting in a chair, and I turned her around so that her back would be exposed to me, put my arms around her, and pressed where I described it on the abdomen below the rib cage. And after 3 compressions, this piece of meat came out, and she just started breathing. Face change. I sort of felt wonderful about it, just having saved that girl.
Did he just say girl?
That girl.
According to his scale, I think I'm a fetus in the womb.
So I knew it was working all over the world. I just felt a satisfaction.
How would you feel walking into a restaurant and being greeted and served by a very friendly, smiling robot? I mean, it seems so futuristic, but this is actually happening. This robot even has a name, Pepper.
My name is Pepper. I'm a humanoid robot designed by Aldebaran and SoftBank as a completely new species of robot. With my humanoid shape and emotion recognition, I can be a true companion in your daily life.
Pepper's creators, or Mom and Pop, is a Japanese company known as SoftBank. The company has pushed this newly engineered robot into restaurants, the workplace, and even homes, using it as waiters, service representatives, and babysitters. You know, I did read somewhere that human-to-human interaction is so last season.
Thank you, thank you.
Pepper the robot is engineered to recognize up to 16,000 human signals and proves to be a humanoid companion.
The robot itself is 1.20 meters high, so it's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a leather jacket. I'll be back.
As you can see, I don't want to be one of those scary robots at all. And I also like to think I'm pretty charming.
The creators' Japanese company have partnered with 500 companies in Japan, with some familiar names like Nestle and Nissan, and plan to expand into the United States this year. The robot has also made its way into a large number of families in Japan and is in high demand in the country. Selling for an estimated $1,800 US, the first 6,000 robots sold out in less than a minute. Quite remarkable.
Thank you very much. Pepper, follow me.
I prefer to stay here.
But SoftBank is not letting the high demand for Pepper go to its head. The company is now turning to the public to suggest what else would you like Pepper to do? Well, I, for one, have a load of ideas.
What else can you do?
Well, what if we took a picture of the both of us?
Okay.
Do you have a camera on your phone?
I do.
Super, I'm getting ready. I strike a pose and you come next to me.
Okay.
Okay, you can stand up beside me. I'm ready. Say cheese!
The company is offering a software development kit for programmers to get creative and allow it to develop new tasks to match a real-life person's presence and perhaps completely fill that void. Pepper is capable of facial voice and even mood recognition.
いないいないばー笑顔になりましたねありがとうペッパよかったよかったのに泣くんですかいいの女心は
It can dance, play, and even be your confidant.
やったー万歳万歳万歳
During an exhibition in Tokyo, a SoftBank's robotics personnel displayed how inserting Google's Cardboard, a virtual reality platform, onto a smartphone where it relays a parallel image of what Pepper sees. With this, Pepper can be the liaison for interaction between family members, or to look after a pet while you're away at that non-pet friendly vacation resort.
I can use my internet connection to make family, friends, or doctors feel closer.
With all that Pepper has to offer, the spicy robot is being pulled off the shelves and into homes of families in Japan, and slowly making its mark in the service-based industries.
It's nice to meet you too, Neil. How about a fist bump?
Wow, you fist bump? Okay, let's try that out.
Nicely done.
Okay.
And wow, that's a fine outfit. Your style is really out of this world.
Well, thank you. Take that as a compliment.
For more mind-boggling stories, be sure to watch an entirely new episode of hand-assorted, not-so-breaking news. News Unplugged. Toodles!